Seriously.
Welcome to No But Seriously. I'm Anna.
I'm Jamaica. Yeah, so this is our first podcast episode.
Yeah, our first one. So please be patient with us.
So today we're just gonna talk about ourselves, how we met, and then just kind of take it from there.
Yeah, talk a little bit about why we decided to do a podcast and kind of like what we're gonna be talking about here, and hopefully you stay with us and continue to listen.
Yeah. So we've been friends for about 5 years now.
Yeah, it's something like that, right?
Yeah.
2017, 2018, 2018.
Well, we met in 2017, but I don't think. Wait, did we meet in 2017?
Maybe
yeah, 2017, but we didn't become friends until 2018.
So Jamaica and I met at work. We worked for a youth counseling agency. I was there for about 2 years. You were there?
I was there for about 2.5 years.
Yeah, so that's where we met. Jamaica swears that I didn't want to talk to her in the beginning.
You didn't. You didn't. Well, it's not just me. You didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't think you was like, I'm not talking to that girl. But but you didn't talk to nobody except the receptionist.
I don't know. I was vibing, trying to see what this was about. So
yeah. And I feel like we were a pretty interactive group. And I'm like, this girl, don't she see us talking? Like, why she ain't talking?
I just had to figure it out slowly but surely.
That was the most interactive group of coworkers I've had, where we all kind of like talk to each other.
Yeah, I can't say that. I think it was a very collaborative group with anything, not just work, but outside of work.
Yeah. I mean, we would do stuff all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, so we met there and, friendship grew from there. Then we started hanging out outside of work. We started going out, with our coworkers. And I think it just kind of kept going from there. Jamaica and I have taken a couple trips together.
A couple?
Yes. We've gone to Mexico twice already. So you guys can just kind of get the idea that it just grew from there.
I forgot what. Huh? But yeah, I think it just grew naturally. I think we didn't talk because I don't know if we really knew what we had in common. Mm-hmm. So like, I mean, obviously we wouldn't walk past each other and not talk, but like we wouldn't have like personal conversations or like one-on-one conversations.
Right.
And then we started to, because we had a mutual friend who brought us together.
Yeah, shout out to you. I think he actually like really had us bond more. Yeah. I can say that for sure.
Yeah. Because I think I got to know you more through him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I feel like you started to like come out of your shell more and talk more. And so I'm like, okay, this girl ain't stuck up like no.
I do have an RBF. I can't say that.
Oh, serious. Oh, gosh. It was serious. It's not like I didn't like you. There's people that I've met. I'm like, oh, I do not like them. It's not like I didn't like you, but I was just like, what is her deal?
It's the RBF. Where I work now, I work at a middle school now, and I get a lot of kids. Like, I'll tell them, like, hey, why didn't you tell me that this happened? Well, Miss Martinez, like, you look scary. That's why, or, And I was like, okay.
For real. I was like, damn, don't she see us having fun? Like, you wouldn't really come out with us or do anything with us, and we were doing stuff all the time.
Right.
So I'm like, damn, what is her deal?
Yeah, it took a while. It takes a while.
And look at us now.
Right. Doing a whole podcast.
Yeah.
See? So I think one of the reasons we wanted to do this is we tried YouTube.
We weren't consistent. We struggle with consistency.
Yes, that was my next thing. Like, consistency is something we're working on. At least I'm also
It's
working
hard.
on it on a personal level.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying so bad because it's a lot of areas that I'm not consistent in.
Yeah, I think the only consistency I've found is the gym, and even then,
yeah,
it's.
But where does that come from? Because there's like certain areas, like with like work and my job and stuff like that, I am very consistent with that. Or like with paying my bills, like that type of stuff. I'm very consistent.
It might be repercussions, or like, is that the word that I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Right, like if you're not consistent with your bills, like you can get evicted, like no water.
Yeah, but if I'm not consistent with my diet and my exercise, I could die. You know what I mean? Like it's the same. Like there's stuff that maybe the YouTube thing wasn't serious, but but there's other stuff that is serious that that I've noticed I'm not consistent in.
But also keep in mind, we started YouTube back like during mid-pandemic.
Yeah.
We did. So I think that was another thing too.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, and then life was returning to normal, and we were like, we outside.
Right, like, period, say less, we're going to be out and about. Streets were calling us.
Yeah. That was a big part of it. You're right.
Yeah, I think that played a huge part. And then that's where the inconsistency dropped, because we had a couple of episodes on YouTube. And then also, if I'm being real, I don't think I have a big following to be like, oh, go watch my YouTube video, like, I have like 3 friends. And you're one of them.
And I'm one of them. Oh, gosh.
So I think that played another role, too.
Yeah.
I think, at least what I'm seeing, right? Because, like I said, we did have a lot. Like, we did invest in it. Like, we ended, like, for one episode, like, we did. We bought clothes from Shein to try on.
We did. I still have those clothes, some of them.
I still have some of them, too.
Yeah. We did.
But we did.
Yeah. I think the pandemic kind of, like, slowing up is what impacted us. Because we started being outside a lot. I mean, we could have filmed our life. But who got time for that?
Right.
I'd be forgetting, like.
No. Like, that's very, like, facts. And then I like another thing too, right? Like, people might say like, oh, why don't you just do TikTok and things like that? I know personally for me, if I do TikTok, I have a bunch of my kids on TikTok. They gonna find me and they gonna come back the next day and be like, Miss Martinez, I found you on TikTok, and now I'm kind of like, I always encourage them to not be on TikTok. So I can't encourage them to not be on there if I'm,
Well, you're an adult.
I know, but still though, like.
No, I worry about that too. I worry about clients like finding me and like, finding stuff out about me. But I'm also like, if they ask, most of the time I'm going to tell them, like, unless I feel like it's something real private or real inappropriate. But most of that stuff I'm not posting anyways.
Right, like I wouldn't post like a TikTok dance.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to come in the next
day. You wouldn't?
They're going to come in the next day talking about you did it wrong.
Well, they're going to teach you. That's a bonding moment. That's a rapport building moment. So I'm actually okay with that. Like I think it's crossed my mind, like clients finding me and stuff like that and finding out stuff about my life. But I'm also like, I'm not going to put something out there that I don't want people to find out. You know what I mean?
You're saying,
yeah. So, I mean, I think that's part of the reason, like, I kind of wanted to do the podcast, too, is because I want to be a little bit more vulnerable and, like, have a space to just talk.
Right.
And I think part of, like, the thing with YouTube, I'm always, like, I think I was always worried, like, well, it's got to look good. We got to look good. And, like.
I mean, that's true, too.
It was more, like. It was less of like
it's more
us just talking
than anything.
Yeah, it was less of us just talking, and it was more like ideas and creativity and stuff that you got to come up with. And like I could talk all day. I mean, I talk to people. Like that's what I do. That's what I do. I mean, I'm a therapist, by the way. I guess I never mentioned that.
But, we totally skipped through that. Like where we at now.
Yeah. But, like, this is what I do. Like, so I think that's why the idea of it felt more comfortable. Also, like, I'm just going through a lot right now. Or I have gone through a lot. in this past year, and I just wanted a space to talk about it because I'm sure other people are going through it too.
Right.
You know?
And me and Jamaica talk a lot. We talk a lot about some of these things when we're like at the bar and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, we've sat down once and we're like, oh, this is a podcast episode, like because we talk about it, we get deep into the conversations.
Yeah. And people can learn from us, or like, I think that there's something that people can learn from like hearing us talk about our personal lives. And if it happens to be a client that finds me and gets something from it, then I hope that they do. So,
yeah. So I guess what we do, right? Since we totally just skipped through
it. We did. Well, I'm a therapist. I've been one for a long time now, since 2014. No, not 2014. What am I talking about? Since 2015. Is that right? Yeah, since almost 2015. And I didn't want to be a therapist, but that's another story. But I am one now, and I do love it. And I want to start my own practice, God willing, before the year is up. If nothing else comes, stuff comes and change my plans along the way. So hopefully nothing comes that gets in the way this time. But yeah, that's what I do.
My actual title is a youth intervention specialist at the moment. I work at a middle school in the Brighton Park, back of the yards neighborhood. I don't know. I do restorative practices in the school. That's what I do. So I also talk a lot with the kids. A lot of that restorative conversations with them of like, how are you feeling? What were you thinking? They get detention. They spend it with me. They get suspended. They spend some time with me. So do some of them see me as that? Yeah. I walk into a classroom. Hey, I'm going to get this person. Ooh, you in trouble? Is the first thing they say.
Always in trouble.
Or they'll see me walking with the student, and they'll be like, oh, what did they do this time, Miss Martinez? And I'm like, nothing. I'm just checking in with them, But that's what I do. Been doing it for about 2-3 years now. But I don't count it. If I'm being real, I started when it was before pandemic, but I started, the strike happened. So we were out for strike, and then the pandemic happened. So then we were out. Then we were out virtually. Then half virtual, half in school. Like, yeah, it's been a hot mess, and I feel really, really bad for, the kids, because they never had.
All right, yeah, sorry. Back after our brief interruption.
So yeah. So I guess kind of like a little bit about what we want to discuss in the podcast. It's honestly more or less of like our experiences, going through life, basically. A little bit about, our work, our relationships with people outside of just us two, right? Like,
oh yeah, we got some tough ones,
right? And then also like what it is, the struggles of being a minority in today's society, aside from just work and relationships, like even our health and our faith, the struggles that we've had with that.
Our consistency, even with that consistency, right, with faith, it's not there. I struggle so much with consistency, and I don't know what the root of that is.
Right. Who knows? We might figure it out at the end of this. But yeah, just kind of like what we've been struggling with, our navigation through life as a minority, and just kind of the obstacles that come along the way is what I'm envisioning.
Yeah.
For the podcast.
Yeah, I think so. I think yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it's a space to be a little bit more vulnerable and share a little bit more about myself and, what I've been struggling with most of my life, but definitely recently. So, yeah, there'll be a lot of change this year.
I mean, it's been nonstop since the pandemic, so
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, so that's kind of what we're hoping to do.
Our friendship survived the pandemic.
Yes, it did.
You know how many friendships did it survive? I don't know how many didn't, but but
Well,
it did.
no, yeah, I agree. I think not many friendships survived, especially when people go through stuff during the pandemic, right?
Yeah, and it was hard for me. I was living alone at the time. That was really hard. Uh, but I had y'all, I guess, my friends.
We did a lot of FaceTime.
Yeah, we did. We did a lot of like little group things, virtual group things.
We did virtual gaming during that time.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And we started YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was too. Is like I needed something to do, cause I was kind of like losing it.
No, yeah. I mean,
needed something to do other than sit on the couch
and watch TV.
Yeah,
because you can only watch so much.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. What's been the best moment in our friendship so far to you?
The best moment?
Yeah.
Let's see. I would have to say when you were in when we went to Mexico the first time and you grabbed the rooster.
That was the best moment.
Yeah, because I think that shows that one, you were able to trust me enough that I gave you a rooster. You're like, come on, hold the rooster.
Yeah.
But also showed that you were able to immerse into my culture, which I appreciated. Because a lot of people would have been like, no, forget you. I'm not touching this rooster. And they would have left, right?
I was down for everything.
Right. So I would have to say, at least for me, it just showed that you were able to trust me in that moment.
Yeah. I think I'm like, why am I go to another country and like not do something that I wouldn't do here? You know, like I might as well stay here.
Right.
You know, and I rather that. Like I like going places and like getting to know like the people and the environments there. You know, not to live in an American bubble.
Right.
In another country.
Right.
Like
even in another state sometimes. You know?
Because that's what we do with like resorts and stuff. Like we live in an American bubble in another country.
100%. What about you? What do you think was like the spotlight?
Of our friendship so far? I think the biggest moment was like going on that retreat, that spiritual retreat. Because it changed my life, you know. As much as I struggle with my faith now, I've still been way more consistent, I feel like, overall. And, like, yearning for that relationship with God more overall since that retreat. Whereas before then, I don't know if that yearning was there and it was just, like, more routine. Because I was pretty consistent with, like, going to church and stuff like that in college, but I don't think I had the same yearning for God back then. And that retreat changed my life. So that was a big moment because you influenced that by talking about your experience so much that it made me want to go. Look at what God does.
Yep. That's God doing all his work.
Yeah.
God knew.
Yeah.
God knew you needed to hear it, and he said, let's see what you do with that information.
Yeah. See how that works? I mean, because you weren't talking a lot in the beginning, but he was like, she going to talk when you need to hear it, you know?
Yep.
And I think that was the first big thing I think that you really talked about, you know? Like with other people.
Right.
Other than the receptionist.
I didn't have a lot going on at that time. And I think the retreat, like how you said, was life-changing for me too. It really made me open up as for me to understand myself, like who am I? And I think since the retreat, I've changed in a way, and I've opened up more, not only to other people but to myself. And I think that was a shift, at least for me too, where I'm like, okay, no, it's okay to open up. It's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to actually speak your mind in a way. But no, yeah, I agree that retreat is life changing, and it opens up your eyes to a lot of things if you're open. If you're open during the retreat, like if you're, if you don't want to be there and you're closed minded, like nothing's, it's not gonna really stick. But once you're open and vulnerable, like it really does open a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the biggest thing that we bonded over, and I don't know if we didn't have that in common, if we would be friends.
Right.
Like I don't know.
Right. Not as close, I would say.
No, I don't think so.
We'd probably have the still mutual person.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be as close as we are today.
Yeah. No.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how one small thing, it's like boom, changes everything.
Yeah,
you know?
It does.
Oh man.
It changed. I mean, it did change a lot. I mean, it changed who I was. Like, I was doing a lot of, I was just a very different person, I think. And I was just like, whatever, down for whatever, going out probably almost every day, and not really like doing nothing. Not like anything that I felt like meant anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would go to work all the time, obviously, but even that started to like get on my nerves.
Oh no, I hear you.
But I think the one thing that kept me there so long was working with the people that I was working with. And I know a lot of people say that, but it really kept me there a lot longer than I probably would have been had you all not been there.
I can say the same thing. Mm-hmm. And at least like I was sitting there and I was like, it's a nonprofit, pay isn't as good, Mm-hmm. So I remember like, I started looking and stuff like that. And I had pushed off some interviews because I was like, no, wait, like, let me wait, because we were all there still, Mm-hmm. And I liked the environment. Like the hours were weird and crazy, but I liked the environment and the safe space we created within, ourselves.
Yeah. I think our little bubble, like mm-hmm. the team that, that I had when I became manager, like that was why I was there. Like the job itself was fine. It was all the stuff outside that was influencing from the top.
Right.
That made it horrible to continue. So, yeah. But we were able to maintain a friendship
through that, like
without working together. Yeah. And that doesn't happen.
No,
you say like we gonna still talk and all that, we gonna hang out, but then you never do.
Right. Like it's hard. I think aside from you and our other friend, like I don't talk to the other coworkers that we had.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really talk to the other ones. I mean, somebody did invite me to a
Isn't that this month?
I thought about it. It's this month. They invited me to their birthday thing. I thought about it the other day, and she was like, "You have to RSVP by April 10th," and it was like April 12th. And I was like, "Ain't no point now." But it is like this week or something like that.
Yeah, so like.
And I did genuinely want to go. I just forgot.
Right, and that happens. Like that. That happens. Like. That's why I'm like, that's why with certain things I have to RSVP. Like, I'm like, bro, people forget.
Yeah.
Like, people forget to RSVP. I'm one of them. Like, I'm going to forget.
Yeah. I started to be like, well, I'm RSVPing now. Like, but then I was like, it's too early. And she messaged me in like February or something.
Right.
Like,
that's
a long time ago. I appreciate the heads up, but I completely forgot. So if you're listening, I'm sorry. I really did mean to go. It's just... It was a lot happened since the invite, you
Right.
know, and that's been kind of on my mind. So anything else kind of, you know, when you get so far deep in my text messages, sorry.
Especially if it's not a person that's consistent, you know?
Yeah. I need a reminder. Like, I would appreciate a reminder, like, hey, remember to RSVP.
And then
I would have been like, oh, yeah.
let me RSVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? But I know everybody don't do that. I mean, I probably wouldn't do that.
Maybe a generated
But
one.
I don't really do RSVPs either.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't. Like, you know, because I know people are going to forget. I know you might not even know the day of, you know? Like, just like, okay, cool. Whoever comes, you know?
Yeah. I also got like 3 friends, so.
I know the 3 that I'm
I can't, like,
if
y'all
don't
3
come,
gonna
it's gonna
RSVP?
be me.
That's embarrassing. You got like 3 people I would invite, but tell them that they got to RSVP.
So yeah, that's the vibe. That's you know what this is gonna be. Any last remarks, Jamaica?
I mean, we haven't really had conflict.
Mm-mm.
I think, you know, I've had some internal conflict, but it's not because of you. It's because you brought out insecurity or something that I had. But which somebody brought up to me the other day. Yeah. Because I guess this was before we were friends. I guess I told them something about you. It wasn't like nothing in a bad way, but just something like, I think it was something about like
my persona.
Yeah, maybe something like that. And I'm pretty like, I think I get pretty, or I used to. I don't feel like I'm this bad anymore, but I feel like I used to get pretty possessive over friendships, you know, and I'm like, you're my friend. Why are you hanging out with them, you know? And I'm like, she won't even talk to us, so why are you even talking to her?
Right.
You know? And so it was just like that, you know? But I used to be pretty like, okay, we're friends, you know? But now I'm secure in the fact that, like, if you're my friend, you're going to be my friend.
Right.
And you can talk to whoever else. And if you not going to be my friend, then I don't want you to be my friend anyways. So, but I used to be, like, very, like, yeah, pretty possessive over my friends. So, yeah. And I'm like, this girl won't even talk to us. But she talked to you? Why? You know, like, I think
I worked with a person on a different level.
I think I used to be like that. Like, why? But, you know, there's stuff that I used to do and say that I don't even remember now, you know, so to be reminded of that, it definitely is like, whoa, I came a long way.
And that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good if the person that said it wasn't their intention to do that.
Yeah, no,
right?
Yeah.
You know, but I think it's so good to have some of those reminders of like, that's where I was back then, and like, this is where I am now, you know? Because then that just shows growth.
Yeah, yeah. But that was, 2018 Jamaica. It's very different Jamaica.
Yeah.
That, you know, and maybe we should talk about this in another episode, but, you know, some people want you to be that, you know, person you were before. And you're not that anymore.
Okay, but facts though, because
you're not that.
That's very true though. You'll have friends that, because you're growing and because you're now able to, how do I say this? Because you're growing and now, I don't even know how to say this. Like, you know, you change, right? You grow, right? And you're now able to advocate for yourself. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you're able then to advocate for yourself with your peers and your family and your relationships, so on, friendships, whatever it is. And then people are like, whoa, like, where is this coming from? This wasn't you last week.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, I don't like this because it's uncomfortable for people.
Yeah.
And then that's where people are like, whoa, like, no. You know, and then that's when they'll say, well, I like this person versus this person.
Yeah, and I know why. Like, you used to get away with more stuff back then. Like, I would let a lot more stuff slide, you know, and I didn't have as strong boundaries, you know, for myself. And now that I do, and that, you know, you're right. Like, that makes people uncomfortable. They don't want to be uncomfortable,
right? Because they're not growing themselves.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's what you deal with, not me.
Facts, though. Like, you're putting this on me when that got nothing to do with me. That's you. That's your work that you need to do.
Yeah,
that's not me. Yeah. So why are you upset with me? You should be upset at yourself. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that we definitely gonna talk about that, because that's not the first time that. I mean, that may be the first time somebody has, like, outright said it to me, you know, but that's definitely not the first time that somebody's acted like that, like they wanted me to be who I was before. But yeah, so this will be the podcast. Yeah, no, we hope that that people can take something from it. You know, we are. You know, the whole point of this and why it's called No But Seriously is that, you know, like, we like to have fun and obviously laugh and stuff, and take light of things, but we also, you know, are very serious too.
Right. I mean, when it comes to it, we'll be serious, but yes, I think majority of the time we're not taking it seriously. And I think that's where the title came in from, No But Seriously, because that's just our personalities. But I hoped that you were able to make it this far.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Yeah, if you made it this far, give us a like or something, a comment or something.
You know, and we hope that you gain some insights as to what it is that the podcast would be and kind of the topics we'll be talking about. Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, to our podcast. Yes.
Like, comment, whatever you can.
Yeah, that'll share help. It. Yes. If you could share it with somebody, share it with somebody. Feedback is always good. Like, if y'all have stuff that you want us to talk about or you want to know, I think for the most part, we are open to that. Or if there's, you know, scenarios and stuff that y'all want our opinions on.
Want us to dissect or something.
Yeah, as people who have, you know, been in helping professions, and who have, I mean, lived life too. So, if y'all just want our perspective on the situation, yeah, send that to us.
All right. Until next time.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, watching, both.
Both listening and watching.